The last day of the China trip felt like that weird mix of sad and relieved. Everyone was sunburnt, sleep-deprived, and carrying way too many overpriced souvenirs that we definitely didn't need. My suitcase barely zipped because of a panda onesie I just had to have in Chengdu. Worth it. We were at the Beijing capital airport, herded together like exhausted little sheep. Our chaperones were doing a final head count while yelling things like, "Do not lose your boarding pass," and "You have to dump your water before security." Like, yes, Miss Tran, we've been flying for 16 years now. We get it. I was standing in line next to my best friend Kayla, both of us trying not to fall asleep standing up. That's when I noticed Hannah. Hannah Cheng, yes, that Hannah, the girl who wore platform docks in 90-degree weather and always had some dramatic story about how her parents didn't understand her artistic vision. She was standing near the edge of the duty-free store, sunglasses on, head tilted, looking like she was about to shoot an indie music video. Why is she wearing sunglasses inside? I whispered to Kayla. Kayla smirked. Because she's mysterious and brooding and can't be bothered with ultraviolet light, obviously. We giggled. 2 minutes later, everything exploded. A loud voice, someone speaking Mandarin, cut through the hum of airport announcements. A security guard had marched up to Hannah and was gesturing wildly. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but the vibe? Not good. Then came the second guard. Then a store employee. Then Miss Tran, whose face did that thing where her left eye twitched like she was 2 seconds from quitting education forever. Hannah stood frozen, sunglasses still on. Then she took them off slowly and held them out like they were radioactive. "Oh my God," Kayla whispered. "She stole them. She actually stole those sunglasses." I blinked. Wait, what? Everyone started noticing. Phones came out. Someone from the junior class, Max, I think, started recording. He'd already uploaded it to his story by the time they pulled Hannah away. "I didn't mean to steal them," she shouted. "I was going to pay. I just forgot." Miss Tran's soul visibly left her body. And just like that, Hannah was gone. They took her to the airport security office. We all just stood there, a bunch of high schoolers staring at each other like, did that really just happen? The worst part? Our flight was boarding. We had to leave. "We can't just leave her," someone said. "We have to," Ms. Tran said through gritted teeth. "The embassy is being called. Her parents have been notified. There is nothing more we can do." And just like that, we left a classmate behind in China. Because of a pair of Gucci knockoff sunglasses. The flight home. We were all still half shocked as we shuffled through the gate. Honestly, the energy felt like we just watched someone get voted off a reality show. Except instead of a dramatic confessional and limo ride, it was airport detention and an international incident. No one said much as we got settled on the plane. I sat next to Kayla and across the aisle from Max, who was already editing the video of Hannah being escorted away, adding dramatic music and CapCut. I rolled my eyes, but let's be real. Everyone was gonna watch it. So, are we just not gonna talk about how weird Mr. Reeves was acting back there? Kayla said, her voice low. I looked up. What do you mean? He was gone. Like, when everything was going down, he wasn't even there. Then he shows up 10 minutes later out of breath. Like he'd been sprinting across the terminal. Now that she mentioned it, yeah. Mr. Reeves, our physics teacher/trip chaperone, was MIA during the whole Hannah drama. And when he came back, he looked flustered as hell. I thought he went to get snacks or something, I said. Kayla raised an eyebrow. From what store? Everything past security was closed except for the duty-free. And he wasn't carrying anything. That was weird. Across the aisle, Max leaned in. You know what I heard? That Mr. Reeves got called to the security office before the Hannah thing happened. Like someone reported him or something. I turned to him. Reported him for what? He shrugged. I don't know. But Zoe said she saw him arguing with one of the airport workers. Zoe was kind of the unofficial gossip columnist of our school. If she said it, it was either a lie, an exaggeration, or somehow both. But still. Now we had a girl detained in China and a teacher maybe being investigated too? Just as I was about to say something else, Ms. Tran walked by our row, giving us the teacher death glare. You know the one. The silent. I know you're whispering about stuff and I will shut it down with the seating chart. So we shut up. For now. But something about this trip suddenly felt off. Like Hannah's sunglasses weren't the only thing that had been stolen. Zoe's theory. By the time we landed in LA, the group chat was a raging dumpster fire. Zoe had already posted a blurry zoomed-in pic of Mr. Reeves pacing near a vending machine with the caption, "When you are teachers Loki being detained while a student gets arrested." It had 89 likes in 10 minutes. Then she dropped the real bomb, a screenshot of a TikTok she apparently found while scrolling mid-flight. It was a 12-second clip from someone who worked at the Beijing airport, probably a bored teen on break, with the text, "American teacher caught with suspicious tech items in carry-on?" "That's Mr. Reeves," Kayla said, eyes wide. "That's literally him." "What the hell is suspicious tech?" Max asked. No one had an answer. But people were already commenting. Was he spying? LOL. Is this a setup? Teacher stole the sunglasses and planted them on the girl. It was insane. And kinda addictive. By the time we made it through customs, someone said they'd heard Ms. Tran talking quietly to another teacher about calling the district lawyer. Like, excuse me? Then I got a DM from Hannah. Well, her backup account. Hey, don't trust what they're saying. I didn't steal anything. And I'm not the only one they're trying to keep quiet. I'll explain everything when I get back. If I get back. That last line made my stomach flip. What the hell happened in that airport? The next day at school was absolutely feral. Everyone was whispering, and it wasn't even subtle. You'd walk past someone and hear, like full CIA-level stuff, or, "I heard she was framed." Our principal made a morning announcement asking students to be respectful of privacy and international matters, which just confirmed that something real was going on. By lunch, the cafeteria was divided. Team Hannah versus Team She Did It. Max had started a poll on his story and it was 53%, free her, and 47%, nah, she's shady. But everything changed when Kayla got the voice note. We were sitting at our usual table, poking at soggy pizza boats, when her phone buzzed. She looked at it, blinked, then shoved it in my face. Hannah sent a voice message 107. We both stared at it for a second. Then she hit play. Hey! So I'm in this weird hotel room turned detention room thing. They're letting me keep my phone but only under supervision. I think they're trying to make it look like I confessed to something. But I didn't steal anything. I swear. There was a pause. You could hear her breathing hard. They asked me about Mr. Reeves. A lot. They wanted to know what he was doing on his laptop. And if I'd seen anything suspicious. Then one of them said something about compromised data and a device being flagged. But it wasn't even my bag. They said the tags didn't match. Kayla's eyes shot to mine. Hannah kept going. I think they mixed up our stuff. I had my tote, but the other bag looked just like it. And now I'm here and they're acting like I'm part of his thing. I don't even know what it is. The voice note cut off. We sat there in complete silence. Kayla whispered, she's saying Mr. Reeves might have been using her bag. Or swapped them on purpose, I said. Right then, Zoe slid into our table like a hawk spotting chaos. Did you hear? She said, barely containing her glee. Mr. Reeves isn't coming back. The school said he's on extended leave, but Mr. Foley let it slip that he was escorted out of LAX yesterday. Escorted out. As in by security. Okay. Something way bigger than stolen sunglasses was going down. It was around 3 a.m. when I woke up to my phone buzzing. At first, I thought it was just Kayla spamming memes again, but when I squinted at the screen, my heart did a weird flip. Unknown account. Sent you a message. I blinked. That wasn't Hannah's backup. It wasn't even a name I recognized. The profile had 0 posts, no followers, and a default gray profile pic. But the message? It said, "You're asking the wrong questions. Mr. Reeves wasn't working alone." Then, immediately after, "Look into Ms. Tran's laptop bag. She kept it with her the entire flight." Why? Chills. Literal chills. I screen recorded everything, then sent it to Kayla with the caption, "WTF is happening?" She replied 1 minute later. I knew she was SUS. We spent the rest of the night texting theories back and forth, our anxiety levels skyrocketing. Kayla remembered that Ms. Tran freaked when the flight attendant asked to stow her bag during takeoff. Fully clutched it to her chest and insisted she keep it under her seat. And remember how she knew the exact process for contacting the U.S. Embassy the second Hannah was taken? Yeah, apparently that's not normal teacher knowledge. By the time we showed up at school, the air was different. Tense. People were starting to realize this wasn't just a student scandal, it might be something bigger. And then we saw it. A black SUV parked outside the front office. 2 men in suits talking to the principal. Zoe walked up behind us and whispered, "Those guys? Totally feds." Third period, Monday. We were halfway through a painfully boring unit on quadratic equations when the intercom crackled. Kayla Martin and my name. Please report to the main office. Our entire class froze. Even Mr. Glover stopped mid-equation. Kayla turned to me, eyes wide. I could feel everyone watching us as we grabbed our bags. Zoe mouthed, "Text me," as we walked out. The hallway felt a mile long. When we got to the office, the two men in suits were still there. One of them looked like he'd stepped straight out of an FBI poster. Clean-cut, intense stare, black tie. The other guy was older, with a quiet voice but that kind of energy that said, "I know everything you're about to say before you say it." Principal Owen smiled way too tightly. "Girls, these gentlemen are asking a few questions about the trip. Just routine follow-up." Routine my ass. We were taken to the conference room. There were bottled waters already set out. Kayla sat down so stiffly she looked like a mannequin. Agent Cleancut spoke first. "We understand you received a message from Hannah Chung while she was still in China. Is that correct?" I nodded slowly. "Yeah. On her backup account. And she told you she believed her belongings had been swapped with Mr. Reeves' bag?" Kayla leaned forward. "She said the tags didn't match. That someone planted stuff on her." The older agent scribbled something in a leather notebook. "Did she say anything else about Ms. Tran?" Kayla and I exchanged a look. "She said Ms. Tran kept her laptop bag with her the entire flight," I said carefully. "And we got a message from another account. We don't know who it was." The agents looked at each other for half a second. Just a flicker. Then Agent Cleancut said, "You two need to be very careful about who you talk to from now on. And if that account messages you again, let us know immediately." Kayla whispered, "Is she okay? Is Hannah still there?" They didn't answer. When we got back to class, everyone was waiting. Zoe looked like she was going to explode. Max immediately shoved his phone in our faces. "Guys, check this out." It was a post from Hannah's account. Not the backup, the real one. Hannah just posted, "You think you know the truth. You don't. But you will. Hashtag Wisteria, hashtag not done." And attached was a photo. It was blurry, taken through what looked like a cracked window. But it showed a person, maybe Ms. Tran, handing something to a man in a suit outside a hotel. Wisteria. The username. The hashtag. The message. Whatever Hannah was caught up in, it wasn't over. After Hannah's post, everything went nuclear. Zoe did a deep dive like she was auditioning for the FBI herself. She searched the hashtag Wisteria on every platform, even the sketchy ones. Most of it was flowers, aesthetic photos, or old Tumblr poetry, until she found the blog, wisteria-archive.net. It was super basic. White background, black typewriter font. No names. No locations. Just entries numbered like journal logs. The most recent one, number 211, they made her carry it. She didn't know. None of them did. But they're watching now. The swap worked. Phase 2 begins. Kayla and I sat in stunned silence in her room, reading it over and over. "What is this?" she whispered. The entry before that was creepier. Number 210. Reeves panicked. "Should have never used the girl. Trans holding more than files. Need backup. The school's compromised." "This isn't some random blog," I said. "This is about us." Kayla nodded. "It's real time. Someone's been documenting the entire trip." That night we both got another message from @wisteria.archive. "There are 3 backs. One was Hannah's. One was Reeves. The third is still out there. You've seen it. You just didn't realize. Find it." Kayla gasped. "What if the third bag is still here? Like, at school?" It hit me then. Zoe had been using a new bag since we got back. A green canvas one she said she found at the airport. And suddenly I wasn't sure if Zoe was just the gossip queen, or something way more dangerous. We didn't confront Zoe. Not yet. If she really had the third bag, we needed to know what she was doing with it first. So we followed her. It was easier than expected. Zoe was always everywhere: yearbook, drama club, school announcements. She stayed late a lot, and Kayla suggested we skip last period to tail her. "Operation Wisteria watches a go," Kayla whispered as we ducked behind the vending machines outside the tech lab. Zoe came out of the media room, bag slung over one shoulder. The green canvas one. Definitely not hers originally. It still had an airline tag half ripped off. She walked fast, cutting through the art wing and out the side doors. We followed from a distance, barely breathing. She wasn't going to her car. Instead, she headed toward the greenhouse, the one the school barely used anymore. It was kind of abandoned, overgrown, weirdly creepy, and locked most of the time. Zoe pulled out a key. Kayla and I looked at each other. Since when does Zoe have a key to the greenhouse? We crept closer, peeking through the warped glass. Inside, Zoe opened her bag and pulled out something wrapped in a cloth. She knelt behind one of the empty planters and started unwrapping it. My phone camera sucked through the foggy glass, but I zoomed in anyway. What we saw made my stomach drop. It wasn't sunglasses. It looked like a small black device, metallic, with wires and a blinking blue light. She handled it like it was fragile or dangerous. Then she pulled out a notebook. A thick one. She flipped through it, took photos of a few pages with her phone, and rewrapped the device. Finally, she buried it under the soil in the planter. Kayla clutched my arm. What the actual hell? We backed away just as Zoe came out, locking the door behind her and walking off like nothing happened. We didn't say a word until we were back in the parking lot. Zoe has the third bag, I said. And whatever's in it, it's not school drama anymore. It's way bigger. Kayla nodded. We have to dig it up. Tonight. Midnight in the greenhouse. It was 11:47 p.m. when Kayla pulled up in her mom's minivan. Headlights off. I was already waiting near the back gate with a flashlight, dressed in full black like we were about to rob a bank instead of uncover high school espionage. We slipped through the fence behind the tennis courts, hearts racing. The greenhouse loomed ahead, half swallowed in ivy and shadows. Kayla whispered, "I swear if a raccoon jumps out, I'm screaming and you're on your own." I grinned nervously and picked the lock with a bobby pin like I'd seen on YouTube. Miraculously, it clicked open. Inside, the air was stale and thick with the smell of damp soil and old fertilizer. The flashlight beam jittered in my hand as we made our way to the planter Zoe had used. We didn't speak, just started digging. 3 minutes in, Kayla's trowel hit something. She brushed the soil away, and there it was, the black device still blinking. Next to it was the notebook. Kayla opened it while I carefully pulled out the device. The pages were filled with diagrams, network maps, weird encrypted phrases, and names. Names. One page had a list of initials with arrows pointing between them. At the top it said, Student Distribution Model Phase 2. Next to Hannah's initials? My name. Kayla whispered. "Why are you on here?" I didn't know. But then I flipped a few more pages and found something worse. Photos. Of us. Walking through the airport. Sitting on the bus. In our hotel rooms. One was taken through the crack in our hotel door. Kayla brushing her teeth, me on my phone. No one else had been there. Suddenly, footsteps outside. Crunching gravel. Kayla turned off the flashlight. We ducked. A shadow passed the glass. Then, the door creaked open. The door creaked open and we held our breath. A figure stepped into the greenhouse, silhouetted by moonlight. My heart was doing backflips. I couldn't see the face at first. Just the outline of someone tall and bundled in a hoodie. Then they whispered, "Don't scream." The voice was familiar. Not Zoe. Not a teacher. It was Hannah. Kayla and I scrambled to our feet. How are you here?" Kayla blurted. "I came back early. Off the grid. My parents think I'm still in Shanghai. They booked me on a private flight with a family friend, used some connections. I wasn't supposed to say anything, but when I saw the new post from that fake account, Wisteria Archive, I knew I had to get to the bag first." She moved toward the planter and stopped dead when she saw the device in my hand. "You already found it." I nodded. We read the notebook. The diagrams. The photos of us. Hannah closed her eyes like she'd been waiting for this moment and dreading it at the same time. "That device isn't just data," she said. "It's a tracker. Not GPS, something worse. Behavior prediction. That whole list of initials? They've been watching our friend groups, clubs, activities, trying to group us into networks for testing." "Testing what?" I asked. Hannah looked straight at me. "Control. Influence. They're experimenting with how rumors spread. How decisions ripple. You ever wonder why Mr. Reeves always encouraged open dialogue? Why Ms. Tran was always taking notes on her laptop during assemblies? Kayla whispered. This was never just about the sunglasses, was it? Hannah shook her head. I think I was their fail-safe. A distraction. And now that it's unraveling, they're going to come after anyone who knows. She looked down at the device. We need to expose it. But we only get one shot. Outside, we heard the faint sound of an engine. Headlights. Approaching fast. Hannah grabbed the device. We have to go. Now. We ran. The truth wasn't just buried anymore. It was coming to light. We hid the device inside a hollowed-out biology textbook and made it back to Kayla's house just before 1 a.m. Our hearts still hadn't slowed down. The plan was simple. Upload everything to a burner site and blast it through every school email list, social media thread, and maybe even local news. If they wanted to track behavior, we'd show them what unpredictable looked like. But before we could do anything, Kayla's phone buzzed. New message from Zoe. Hope you found what you were looking for. Be careful who you trust. Check page 46. Page 46 of the notebook. I flipped it open and felt the blood drain from my face. There, taped inside, was a photo. Old, blurry, but clearly showing a much younger Hannah, maybe 11 or 12, standing next to Mr. Reeves. Behind them, Miss Tran. Hannah looked shocked when she saw it. That's not possible. I don't remember this. Under the photo, a note scrawled in shaky handwriting. She was the first. And she doesn't even know it. Kayla whispered. Hannah, you've been part of this since the beginning. Hannah backed away from the notebook, her face pale. And then the final twist came. My phone buzzed. New message from at Wisteria Archive. You weren't just observers. You were subjects. Thank you for your participation. The message vanished before I could screenshot it. And then every light in the house went out. We hid the device inside a hollowed-out biology textbook and made it back to Kayla's house just before 1 a.m. Our hearts still hadn't slowed down. The plan was simple. Upload everything to a burner site and blast it through every school email list, social media thread, and maybe even local news. If they wanted to track behavior, we'd show them what unpredictable looked like. But before we could do anything, Kayla's phone buzzed. New message from Zoe. Hope you found what you were looking for. Be careful who you trust. Check page 46. Page 46 of the notebook. I flipped it open and felt the blood drain from my face. There, taped inside, was a photo. Old, blurry, but clearly showing a much younger Hannah, maybe 11 or 12, standing next to Mr. Reeves. Behind them, Miss Tran. Hannah looked shocked when she saw it. That's not possible. I don't remember this. Under the photo, a note scrawled in shaky handwriting. She was the first. And she doesn't even know it. Kayla whispered. Hannah, you've been part of this since the beginning. Hannah backed away from the notebook, her face pale. And then the final twist came. My phone buzzed. New message from at Wisteria Archive. You weren't just observers. You were subjects. Thank you for your participation. The message vanished before I could screenshot it. And then every light in the house went out. We froze. Somewhere outside, the wind rustled through the trees. The hum of the fridge went silent. No buzz, no glow, just complete darkness. Kayla whispered. What do we do now? Hannah picked up the notebook in the device. She looked at us, calm somehow, like the storm had already passed and she was just walking through the wreckage. We finish what they started, she said. But on our terms. And in that moment, standing in the dark, I knew one thing for sure. Whatever Wisteria was, it wasn't over. But neither were we.